Good afternoon, everybody. The tailgate continues. I am your host, Jennifer Yon Kennedy. I am this time joined with Gloria Joyner. I'm excited to have a full, in depth conversation with her about who she is, why she's running. And this is, of course, the IBA Success Tailgate interview series, all sponsored by Southern Style Barbecue, located at the corner of Lee and Edgewater, 4890 Edgewater Drive, right here in Orlando, Florida. So, welcome, Gloria, so much for sitting on this stage, gracing us with your beautiful presence today to talk live during this time because I understand this is the most hectic time of the candidacy, close up to voting time.
Correct.
So, for a person that has never heard your name before for the first time, okay, who is Gloria Joyner? Tell us about the woman before you decided to become a candidate.
I would love to. So I am a native Floridian. Do you want me to look at you or look at
I,
that?
whatever, however, listen, they hear, they watch it.
I
So
just want to
this
make
is sister
sure.
girl talk. This is an
Okay,
interview.
okay. Well, I'll go back. I don't want to
Go back.
ignore
Yes,
you, but I don't
ma'am.
want to ignore them.
Listen, when you talk to them, I'm gonna talk to them too.
All right. So I'm originally from Tampa, Florida. I attended USF. I was a music major. I've always been an artist in my heart, but of course that doesn't always pay the bills. So I did transfer to Florida A&M University. So my bachelor's, I'm a rattler. So
Rattler.
we strike and
Okay.
we strike and we strike again. I'm not only a rattler, I'm a Humphreys rattler. So that's another level of rattler. And I also have my MBA. I've been working in the insurance industry off and on since 1998. So I'm an expert in insurance, health, Medicare. I worked in the medical insurance field before Obamacare. I saw what difference it made after Obamacare, even though people who had no knowledge of the insurance industry were talking about what it was or what it wasn't. I have a financial background. I have my Series 7, my Series 66, and my Series 63, which means I can go to Wall Street. I used to work, as a matter of fact, right down the street at Merrill Lynch, the Bank of America building. My last role was with Fidelity Investments. Fidelity Investments has 95% of the 401ks in the United States. So I have a financial background and I also have my real estate license. I worked at Sotheby's and Dr. Phillips. We had the Shaquille O'Neal listing for 28 million. So I am actually someone that is highly qualified. I have my MBA. I have an undergraduate in agricultural business, so I understand business at a deeper level. When I was a girl, I became a manager at 16 in the restaurant industry. So I've been a server. I've served. I've also been a social worker. As a single mom, you have to have many hats. So when I first got divorced, I got a job with the Department of Children and Families as a foster care case manager in Osceola here in Orange County in the Pine Hills area. So I also know how much is needed in that arena of children and foster care, and I know how much is broken in that field as well. So I probably have the most unique perspective as a candidate because I've worked with our most needy residents and I've talked to millionaires every day. And so I've been the only black girl in the room. I'm not afraid to confront power or confront wealth. I'm not impressed by power or wealth. And 7 years ago, a hedge fund started an illegal foreclosure against me and they picked the wrong person. I've escalated this up to every regulatory agency there is. They did nothing. All those systems are broken. I've made my congressman aware. I've bubbled a legislative white paper up to Maxine Waters and the Judicial Oversight Committee. I've filed complaints with the DOJ, the SEC. I'm not playing around because they're taking our houses one by one. Anna Escamani and her team 2 years ago started helping me. I don't even live in her district, so I'm just giving her a shout out. I don't even live in the city, but that just tells you. But then I've had the adverse effect with some of our leaders, in particular the one that is I'm under now. When I tried to get this in front of this person, they essentially told me, and I quote, if you think you're so smart, you run for office.
Okay, and you decided to run for office.
Yes, because I couldn't take that.
Okay, so let me ask you this: out of all of your experience, and I agree with you, you know, we we have to wear multiple hats. But out of all of your experiences, which experience do you think best prepares you for the commissioner seat?
Being a social worker.
Okay.
Being a social
And
worker.
your campaign talks, and you talk candidly about the experience for fighting to protect your home.
Mm.
The story, could you tell us a little bit of how it changed the way you view the government, you view public office?
Well, I was always skeptical. When you're a Black American in the United States, you always have some type of suspicion as to whether or not the system is working with you or against you. And so what really showed me that it's so against working people, not just black people, but working everyday people, is when this foreclosure happened because I wasn't behind on my mortgage. They just made up paperwork and submitted it to the court. And then you find out that the Ninth Judicial Circuit is a high volume foreclosure court, and they're not a court that verifies documents. So if you're a regular everyday person, you won't know this is happening to you until the sheriff shows up at your door. And so they're not doing the Ocoee massacre anymore or the Black Wall Street or Rosewood. They're taking our properties one at a time. It's happening nationally. But because they're concentrating on predominantly black and brown neighborhoods, no one's sounding the alarm bell. Mm-hmm.
So typically now a county commissioner oversees, involving budgets, they housing, transportation, development, public safety. Um, if you were to rate yourself a 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, what experience do you feel you have that prepares you for all of those responsibilities?
Well, my experience working in finance at the highest levels, if you want your listeners to Google what a Series 66 is, that means I'm licensed to be a financial advisor of people's investments.
Okay.
So my Series 7 is 63, meaning I can trade and I can work as a general representative. So if I went to Wall Street right now, I would be able to go work on the trading floor. So I understand the economy from a Wall Street perspective, but then because I have my MBA, I understand what the true economy is, which is the supply and demand that we're dealing with right now. And so I've worked in the insurance industry, I've worked as a business person, and I've worked talking to business owners and meeting their needs in the insurance space, in the real estate space. And so I know what the documents are, I know what development is, I know what finance is. There's not a document that you're going to be able to put in front of me or a proposal that you're going to be able to suggest to me that I'm not going to line item it and understand what I'm reading. And that's very important because this is a job interview. This isn't a popularity contest. It isn't about who do you like, who did you grow up with, who did you know very well, who held your child at baptism, who dated your brother when y'all were in high school. It's about who's going to go downtown to Orange County Commission and do what's in the best interest of the community.
When you look at District 7, what other issues are of a concern to you?
My main concern is the fact that we haven't had effective leadership in decades. Because when I moved to District 7, which is currently District 6, in 1999, we had an Albertsons on the corner of Orange Blossom Trail and Claricona Road. It is gone. We had a Publix there. It is gone. We had a Publix on Hiawassee and Silver Star. It is gone. We had a Winn-Dixie on Claricona Road in Hiawassee. It is gone. Frito-Lay closed in October. There are no answers or explanations about that. We had a Red Lobster on Hiawassee. We had a Longhorn. If I want to go on a nice date with someone, I have to leave District 7 to go to a nice restaurant. That's a problem, and no one is explaining it. When I worked in Sotheby's, Dr. Phillips, when I drove through Windermere, when I drove through Baldwin Park, there's a difference in our communities, and it's not by accident. There shouldn't be an infrastructure issue that's not being addressed in Pine Hills or Eatonville that's being addressed in Windermere or Ellsworth.
That it speaks volumes. We talk about what Orange County does because, of course, the commissioner can't do it all on their own. So, what should Orange County be doing differently to help fix these situations?
Well, number one, we have to listen to the residents. And we cannot let tourism and business developers drive the narrative in Orange County, because there is no Orange County if there are no residents. If the residents are taking 2 hours to get to work on links, if we're underpaying people, because the average salary in District 7 is 40% less than the average salary in all of Orange County. The average Orange County voter makes about 80,000 a year. The average voter in District 7 makes about 50,000 a year. That's not by accident, it's by design. And so that's where my issue comes from, where I God called me to run, because everyone who's getting into office doesn't always get into the office to be a public servant. Most people I'm encountering are in office to serve themselves, to increase their visibility. And that is why we see what we see in our community everywhere. There shouldn't be a difference between a black community, a brown community, an affluent community, or a marginalized community. But there are differences, and I feel like we need to take accountability and hold our leaders accountable.
What is your plan? Because we talk about salary, and what is your plan to bring better paying jobs and real economic opportunity to District 7?
I don't think you have enough time, but it's right here.
Okay, give us a
It's
little bit of it.
right here. It's right here. It's right here. There are so many things. Just on general, and just speaking in general, the number one thing that a commissioner can do is when developers come and offer you an opportunity to build in your community, you can stipulate that they give a certain percentage of those high paying jobs to a certain percentage of the residents.
Okay.
You can stipulate certain things because you have enough power that already exists with current legislation. Then you can insist that they contribute to the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if we're going to open up a super Walmart in District 7, then that Walmart has to help bring the septic systems up to par, because District 7 has the highest number of septic tanks in all of Orange County. That's a problem. That's a problem. That means our infrastructure is outdated. And so those are just basic. I have the receipts if you want to read it and see it. I can tell you that I do, but generally speaking, you have to be thinking in terms of not just what's going to enrich me, what's going to enrich the developer, because when the voter's not in the room, you need to make sure you're voting for the person that's going to represent you when you're not in the room.
So, in advocating for an issue, I think, and governing are two different things, what I've learned.
Yes.
How will you move from saying what needs to change to actually getting enough support on the commission to change it?
Well, I can't tell all my secrets.
Okay.
I can't tell all
I've
my
heard
strategies.
I ask really good questions.
You do. I can't tell all my strategies,
Yes.
but at the end of the day, I am. Anyone who knows me knows I'm relentless. Jenny and I met previously, Miss Jen, so I am nothing to play with. And I'm a right fighter, so when I see something that's not correct and that's not right, I'm not gonna stop until it's made correct. That's why I've been fighting for 7 years against this hedge fund that's been illegally foreclosing on me, where most people would have walked away, given up, and said, forget it. I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours, and years to secure my son's legacy.
So I've attended a lot of commissioner meetings, and I see, topics need to be voted on. You're going to be sitting next to lots of commissioners. They may not or may agree with you. Tell me about a time you successfully worked with a group who did not agree with you.
I'm a black one. So that's all the time. That's all. I'm being facetious. I just wanted to lighten the moment.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot because in my previous life in the financial sector as well as the insurance sector, those are consultative sales roles. Those are roles in which you're trying to persuade someone or inform someone or help someone. I'll give you a perfect example. When I was a district manager with Conseco, the city of Lake Wales was an account that was very much against my organization that I worked for at the time, helping their employees by offering them voluntary benefits. And so they had multiple meetings, and the answer was no, absolutely not. They didn't want us in there. However, when I started with the company, I asked if they would give me one more meeting and if they would speak with me because I'm a new manager, I'm a new person in the company, and I wanted to plead our case. And ultimately, we did win the account with the city of Lake Wales, and we were able to help their hundreds of employees. So I'm used to speaking to C-suite level executives. I don't know any other candidate that can say that they've been in meetings with people who've spoken to Warren Buffett. So that's the level of knowledge and information that I have had access
So
to.
you hold a lot of licenses.
Mm-hmm.
What does fiscal responsibility mean to
I love your questions for sure.
you?
Fiscal responsibility means transparency, and it means accountability, and it
Mhm.
means constantly auditing
Mhm.
and making sure that there is no waste.
Mhm.
And you can't just assume that because it used to be this way or it's always been this way and we've always spent this much, that that is the best way.
Okay.
So as a new incoming commissioner, one of the number one things I'm going to do is audit a lot of processes, a
Mhm.
lot of departments to see where there is waste so we
Right.
can cut corners. Because I can assure you, and you know this as a single mom, we can always
Mhm.
find a way to make
Mhm.
something work. We can find where we're spending $5 where we should be spending one, or we know we're overspending in areas that we shouldn't be spending. So the biggest thing is it can't be about whether or not you feel personally attacked. If someone's questioning whether or not what you're doing is fiscally responsible, it's about being accountable to the voters. Because this isn't about my ego or my hurt feelings. This is about whether or not I'm going to let the people who put me in office down.
So since you haven't held a seat, an elected office seat, what experience, if they're watching right now and they're saying, okay, everybody talks about experience, you haven't held an actual official seat with the government. What would make them say, you know what, with her background in these areas, we feel she's the right choice for us?
The fact that I haven't held a seat is my strength.
Mm.
Political insiders are the reason we're in this
Mm.
predicament.
Okay.
The reason society is broken and all the systems are broken is because people are playing patty cake with each other, and guess who's paying the price? We are.
So, for one that says that government, it requires political experience, what would you say to them if they say, hey, no, running for office, it requires political experience?
Well, I disagree with that because every job I've ever had, I didn't have experience before I had that job.
Right.
So there's called on the job training. And someone like me who has a master's degree and all these licenses, I've been doing my work, I've been doing my research, I've been studying, I've been looking and examining the ways. I have a first 180-day proposal of what I'm going to be able to do based on the research I've done. So I'm not just going in there. I'm actually, when you see campaign forums and you see debates, I'm the only candidate up there with a folio referring to materials. The rest of them are spitting it off their dome, saying their things from their heart and their soul. And that's unacceptable to me because this is a very, very serious role because this role can affect 168,000 residents in a good way or in a bad way.
I agree. Accountability and having a good leader in the district is so crucial. Give me three things that District 7 residents should be able to hold you for accountable for during your first 2 years.
The number one thing they should be able to hold me accountable for is being present and accessible.
Okay.
Because I go canvassing every week since I registered the end of February. I've been canvassing every week since April. In every house I go to in Pine Hills, Orla Vista, College Park, or Pine Hills, the word is the same thing. I have never seen a candidate in my life, and I've lived here 30 years, 20 years. So or they call, they say, I've called my so and so, and I can't ever get in touch with them. I've emailed them, I've called them. When I want something, I can't get in touch with them. So the number one thing is accessibility and
Mm-hmm.
transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you only see me when I want your vote,
Mm-hmm.
when you can't get in touch with me once I get in office, that's a problem. Number two is open door policy. You can come to the commission and open my door. My personal cell phone number is on my flyers. Someone actually called me one day to say, I wanted to see if this was a real number. I'm for real. I mean, this is a calling. I am a servant leader. I am not doing this because I was a 5 year old and I had ambitions of running for office. I didn't look at, oh my gosh, there's no incumbent, so let me go run for office. I argued with God. When God called me to do this, I argued with him. But he told me all of these skills and tools that I've been using at a micro level, he wanted me to use those at a micro level because our society's in the position it's in because a lot of people like you and I aren't stepping up and taking that risk and taking the chance. And the third thing they have to hold me accountable for is for the first 2 years, if I don't make things better, then fire me.
You talk about risk. What are some of the risks that you've taken to position yourself in this race?
The first risk is to run at all because I have no political affiliations. I have
Mm-hmm.
no industry insider knowledge of anything. No one is endorsing me. I've
Okay.
just finally got my first endorsement a few days ago. No one is speaking up for me that is a part of the political establishment.
Okay.
And so I knew that was going to happen because I'm in sales. I've been in sales for decades, and so I knew that that was going to be the case. So that's a risk. And then I'm taking a personal risk because I am fighting a court battle in state court and I'm fighting with the servicer in federal court. And so I don't want to lose focus on that as well. But at the same time, I wouldn't be fighting those fights in court if things weren't broken. So it's like, I'm taking a risk.
You mentioned transparency. What does transparency mean to you when it comes to county spending, development deals, decisions being made at the county hall?
To me, transparency means very important decisions that are going to affect the community at large. The community needs to be invited into those discussions instead of having closed door deals where we give property away to charities or we sell property to people without asking the community at large, but we tell everybody the community was on board. If the community is not on board and I do something that can hurt them because I think it's in the best interest because of how it's presented to me, then I failed my job as commissioner.
Who would you say has taught you the most about leadership, and what did they teach you?
Jesus,
Ooh, amen, sis. That's an amazing answer.
Yeshua, he taught me the most
Okay.
because he is a servant leader. He said, if you don't wash his feet, you don't have any place in his kingdom with him. And so I identify with Jesus because Jesus didn't try to be friends with the Pharisees or the Sadducees or the Sanhedrin. He didn't try to be nice with the high priest. He didn't try to make friends with the millionaires and the billionaires. He was out there talking to everyday people. And if you remember, when Jesus walked the earth, he never admonished everyday regular people. He held the establishment accountable. He flipped over tables in the synagogue. He
Mm-hmm.
never cussed out every day. Not that Jesus cussed, y'all know what I mean. he
Right.
never he never flipped out and called people out who were everyday just people just trying to live their lives. He would pray for them. He would heal them. He would help them. He had mercy for them. But the people that were in leadership, the people that were leading his sheep astray, he held them accountable.
So people that are watching you, and some people hear different things, and they don't hear things. What's a misconception that you think is out there, or what's a misconception people may have about you that you like the opportunity to correct and clear up?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. I mean, I don't really partake in those types of things. I
Okay.
don't really. I'm not a person who participates in gossip.
Okay.
I will say this just because I have to. It has to be said. When you are a woman and you are a black woman, society says there's a place you should stay in. And because I do not hold that place, a couple of times I've overheard comments from people who felt like I should be smaller than what I am. and I should be sweeter and softer than what I am, but I'm not asking to be in a relationship with District 7. I'm not trying to date or have a romantic dinner with District 7. I'm trying to make things right in District 7. So, do you want someone that's going to be in the room with all of these powerful people and they hold their hair down and they're afraid to speak up? Or do you want someone in that room that's not afraid to call them out? Because I don't have any reputation. So, I don't care how they feel about what I do because I have to hold myself accountable to 168,000 residents in District 7. And so that's what's driving me as well as my belief because the Lord is my guide. And so I'm never going to do anything, God willing, to my
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. I'm not going to knowingly do anything that I think is against God or against the Word of God.
This is a huge responsibility. What scares you the most about this new journey that you are putting yourself on the front and center for?
That I don't get it all done in the
Okay.
time that I have.
What excites you the most?
That I'll be able to change people's lives for the better.
Very exciting thing that keeps you driving. Throughout this campaign, I know it's nonstop. I've worked behind the scenes and I've worked with candidates in the past, and it's forever going. What have you been doing to take care of yourself? We always say self care is the best care. This is a heavy position, heavy title. You're a fighter. What is your self care regimen?
Going to Jenny's for karaoke
Yes.
sometimes.
So you singing too? Okay, y'all.
Going to Jenny's. But seriously, I take bubble baths every night.
Okay.
I unplug. So
I
I take
try to do that. You know what? And it's like I can't even get in the bubble bath
really.
sometimes. It's like let me just get a quick shower.
Well, so I try to make sure that I have a hard line of when I
Yes.
stop interacting with emails and things
Yes.
of that nature where I just decompress. So that line is drawn once I get in that bathtub. So
Okay.
once I get in the tub, no more emailing, no
Mhm.
more whatever time that is. I'm not going
Mhm.
to say the time is always what I would like it to be.
But you have a cutoff.
Yes, I have a cutoff,
Yes.
and my prayer and meditation every day. I pray every morning. I read the Word of God every morning, and I listen to the Word of God, and I listen to praise music every morning. I try to do that before I speak to any human being,
Yes.
before I make
Stay
any
guarded and
decision.
prayed up.
Yes, because the devil is busy out here.
Yes, I think that's what my mug says. Mine says, worry less, yours says, pray more. So, for someone that's still watching this interview who says, I still don't know enough about Gloria, what's the one thing you want them to remember about you when they are going to the polls?
I want you to remember that I am you and you are me, and I'm fighting the same fight that you're fighting. And when I become commissioner, you become commissioner.
So, why Gloria Joyner? Why District 7? Why now?
Why District 7 is because I've lived there since 1999.
And
And
where is District 7? Where is that?
very good question. So, District 7 is currently mostly District 6 and parts of other districts. So, it's primarily Orla Vista, it's primarily all of Pine Hills, um, Fairview Shores, Eatonville, parts of Maitland, and parts of Winter Park. Mhm.
So, if you were to finish this sentence to me and you're talking to the people, clearly say, if you trust me with your votes, I promise to.
If you trust me with your vote, I promise to not let you down.
Yes. Listen, I absolutely enjoy conversations, not just with individuals that are
Mm-hmm.
running for office, but
Mm-hmm.
ones that are smart and that's educated
Mm-hmm.
and that has a real plan on
Mm-hmm.
what's next.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Tailgate IBA Success interview with candidates. Voting is so important. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. And last words, Miss Gloria, because I know you still out here campaigning strong. Last words, anything you want to say to our audience today?
I want you to understand that it's not you. You're not doing anything wrong. The system is broken. you're supposed to be making a minimum wage of at least $30 an hour. The median house price in Central Florida is 505,000, and that's not your fault. Rent in Pine Hills is the same amount as rent is in Baldwin Park. That's not your fault. And I want you to know that there are people out there like me, like Miss Jennifer, that are fighting the good fight, that we're doing our part to make things better. And if you trust me and you believe in me and you give me a chance, I promise you will not regret it.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, y'all. Listen, this is what we do in the IBA Success Magazine platform. It's all about educating, it's all about growth within our communities. We want to give again a special shout out to our sponsor, Southern Style Barbecue, for making this possible, along with Gen Yon Agency. You all listen, we thank you, and there is still more coming today and tomorrow. So if you're not following IBA Success Magazine, do so now. Where can they find more information about
That's another good question. So always forget that because I'm so focused on
you? I
speaking
got
about
you. Yes.
that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. So vote the number four joiner.com. Vote for joiner.com is where you can find me. I'm on social media. I'm on all platforms. I have a Facebook page. I have an IG page. I have a TikTok as well as a Blue Sky. I'm not on X until Elon Musk leaves. I left X when he came.
Listen, and you heard it right here from her mouth, all about everything that her focus is, her mission is. Listen, Gloria Joyner, she is one of the candidates of District 7. The candidate of District 7, y'all. Y'all continue to follow, and again, like, follow, share. We appreciate y'all for listening, and don't go nowhere. We still got more for today. Bye bye.